If you have a business where you're trying to sell something on any platform, but especially on TBT, it can be really frustrating sometimes because you might have the most amazing thing ever, or you think it's really, really great, but that doesn't necessarily mean that people are going to buy it. And it can be so frustrating when you pour your heart and soul into something and it doesn't sell as well as you had hoped. So in this video, we're gonna be talking about the 5 reasons why people don't purchase and what you can do to help them. Now, these are things I did not come up with on my own. I read about them in a book from Zig Ziglar called Secrets of Closing the Sale, which I was going to hold up at this point and be like, wow, look at the book. But then I realized that my husband took it to work because he is in sales. And so I didn't have it here, so sorry. But Secrets of Closing the Sale by Zig Ziglar, it's a really good book. I had low expectations going into it, but it was so good. And there were so many really actionable, helpful nuggets in there that I would highly recommend that you check the book out. So I will link it down below in the description. That being said, we're gonna use Zig Ziglar's stuff and we're going to take his whole formula and apply it more to TPT. So let's get started. Before we get into the 5 things that Mr. Ziglar has to tell us, let's talk about a couple of like general, like right off the bat kind of things. If you are not making sales, number 1, not everyone buys. Like, it's just that's all of life. And there's this thing called conversion rates. And basically it means that people land on your store and they either purchase or they don't purchase. The percentage of people who purchase is your conversion rate. That's how many people you are converting into buyers. And this figure is usually very low. On the internet, like 1 to 5% is pretty good. On TBT, it depends kind of on how much the product is. On TBT, the figure is actually a little bit higher, having like 3 to 9%, 3 to 10%, 3 to 15% even is doing pretty well depending on the price point. The higher the price, the lower the conversion is going to be. But basically that means that for every 100 people, if you get a 10% conversion rate, that means only 10 out of 100 people purchased it. The other 90 didn't. Why I'm telling you this is because when you start business, you can have higher expectations of like, oh, everyone who lands on this is gonna buy it, or every other person. No, friends. It's like 1 in 10, 1 in 20. That's how many people are gonna purchase your product if it is marketed well on the listing page. So first of all, if you don't even have 100 views on a product, don't expect to convert anything, right? Because if, every 100, you get 10 people who buy. If you only have 10 people who have looked at it, you might get 1. Okay, so first, right off the bat, conversion rates are low, so have lower expectations. If you don't have that many eyes on your product, you're not gonna have that many people purchasing. So just that's number 1. Number 2 is if you are new to TPT or new to online, do not expect to make a bunch of money. I know, I totally feel it. I do it too. I'm like so excited about a new product and I post it thinking I'm gonna like make all the money and nobody buys it at first. That's normal. Things on the internet, even though they feel instantaneous because you can post it instantly, people can buy it instantly, doesn't actually mean it's gonna be instant. It typically takes 3 to 6 months to start getting the ball rolling in your store, up to a year, I would say, before you can really expect anything. So if you're over here and you're like, oh, I've had a store for 2 weeks, expect nothing and be excited if you make any sales. Okay? Okay. Now, having said that, the things we're gonna talk about talk about in the next little segment are going to help you to make sales. So even if you're like, oh, well, I just started, that's fine. Listen to the rest so you know what to do right to help increase that conversion rate and make the most amount of money. Okay? Okay, let's do it. So 5 reasons why people don't purchase. Number 1 is they don't need your product. They have no need for it. If people don't need your product, they're probably not gonna buy it, okay? Okay, so when it comes to purchasing things, people are most likely to purchase the things that they need the most. So things that are gonna help them with their life, save them time, save them money, help them to simplify their lives. Maybe they need, really interesting, helpful activities. Maybe they need differentiated reading passages. Those are things that they need in their classroom. Like, I am in my classroom, I need this thing, I don't have it. That's a good reason to buy. If your product doesn't look like it's something they need, then they're not gonna buy it. So if they don't need your product, they're not gonna buy it. So what can you do about that? Number one is make sure that your products are useful and helpful. And usually the products that are really hard and take the longest are the most helpful, the best at filling a need. So don't shy away from products just because they're hard or time consuming, because they might be the thing that you need in your store. So make sure your stuff is useful. Make sure it's helpful. We don't want fluffy stuff. We want useful, actionable things. So what is gonna really help change someone's life? That's gonna be your best bet. Some of my products that are helpful, I have basically my products that are the most, like the top sellers, are things that really engage the students and things that are easy for teachers to use. So that's kind of what I keep in mind from now on. When I'm making a product, I want it to be engaging and I want it to be easy to use so that people will be able to use it. And also make sure that it's something that they're teaching, you know, because if they're not teaching it, then it's not very helpful. Now, if your product is helpful and useful and they do have a need for it, then they may just not realize that they need it. And that is where the marketing comes in, which is how you talk about your product. So when you're in the description, when you're in your preview, when you're doing a video preview, all those things, you want to show people why they need their product. You want to tell them why they need their product. So when I'm writing a description, I'm thinking, what is the outcome for the teacher that this product is going to provide? Is it going to save them time? Is it going to make their life easier? Put that in the description. Talk about it in your marketing. If you're talking on Instagram, hey, this is a great product. You need this in your classroom, because then you never have to think about it again. Like, it's just here. Okay. So think about those things as you are making your products, and specifically when you're talking about your products, to make sure that the communication is there. Number two is people don't purchase your product because they don't want it. Yeah. If you don't want something, you're not gonna buy it. Sometimes things are maybe not a need, but they are a want. So just because it's not super essential doesn't mean that people won't buy it. It just means that if they don't need it, then they have to want it. And ideally they would want to need it and also want it. But if they don't need it, like it's not super pertinent to their curriculum, then they need to want it, because, you know, there are things that we want that we don't need. For example, today I purchased a dress that is a black collar dress that has Mickey pumpkins all over it. Did I need a dress with Mickey pumpkins all over it? Probably not. But did I want it? Yes. And when I saw that, I immediately was like, I have to have it. I wanted it so bad. I bought it in the wrong size because they didn't have my size, and I was worried that they were just gonna sell out of all of them. So I'm gonna keep an eye out. I might return the too big size if my size comes back in stock, but we'll see. My point is, I really wanted that, and so I purchased it. So when you're looking at your products, you wanna make sure that people really want your product. How do you do that? Well, first of all, make it something that, you know, they want. So something that's exciting, engaging, not boring, something that's easy to use, and something that is visually appealing. Yes, it does. It needs to be pretty. I'm sorry. I know that it shouldn't matter, but your products need to be pretty. Like, that's just the final say about it. Okay. Now, if your product is something that is super cool that people are going to want to use, but they don't know it yet, then you need to, again, show it to them. So make sure you're highlighting the most important features of it, why your kids love it, different ways that you can use it. And specifically, this is where video previews can come in handy, because there's something about seeing a product in action that makes you want it, because it's like, oh, that's cool. So when you see a product in action from a video preview, you get a whole different look from it than like reading the description or different things like that. And it makes it enticing, especially if it's something like a game or a craft. If you are doing a craft, you better have a video preview. You need it. Something like that that's like fun and engaging, and you can see it and you can see that it's engaging. So if people don't need it, make sure that they want it. Number three, the third reason why people may not purchase is because they're not in a hurry. So when you go to purchase things, you probably are going to purchase them if you have a compelling reason. For example, Mickey pumpkin dress was selling out. So I was like, oh, I better buy it even if it's in the wrong size, because it's gonna sell out and then I'm gonna lose my chance. okay? Now we do digital things, and so you don't have the whole selling out thing when I can just continue to make, you know, 100 different right the room activities. So that's not gonna help with the hurry. So you have to have other reasons to hurry, because if you don't have a reason to hurry, then you're just not going to purchase it. Another example, another story. I have been out of makeup remover for like a month. And I just haven't bought any more, because even though, like, yeah, I need the makeup remover, I just made sure I was using waterproof mascara, and it's been fine. I mean, sometimes I look like a raccoon when I wake up, so I don't have a big hurry to purchase the makeup remover. Now, if at some point I'm like, oh, I need to wear some other different kind of makeup, then yeah, I'm gonna want to make sure I get that makeup remover so I can get it off. But if I'm not in a hurry, then I'm not going to be that enticed to purchase it. So the more in a hurry people are, the better. Some ways to create that hurry. Seasonal products are an excellent example of this, because there is an imposing deadline of the season. You know, if you make a Halloween resource and people are purchasing it, you have to purchase the Halloween resource before Halloween in order to use it. So that is an example of a hurry. There's a hurry to purchase that product because you have to purchase it before the season. Or if you're doing something in your class and you're teaching a space unit and someone's got a space unit for sale, you are in more of a hurry to purchase that space unit because you're doing it currently. Now, that's not when you can really time out, but seasonal products are a great example of that. You know, you just gotta get it in time. Now, you can also do artificial ways to create that hurry, and one of the easiest ways to do that is with a sale. So you can set your store on sale, and that will increase people's hurry. They want to get that money off, and so then they will be in more of a hurry to purchase now instead of waiting until later or possibly never. So sales are a great way to make that happen. I will say that with the caveat of sales only work if you have people to tell about your sale. So if you don't have social media, you don't have an email list, you don't have that kind of stuff, your sale's probably not going to go very well because people won't know your stuff's on sale. So just bear that in mind. I've been there where I had nobody and I threw a sale and literally nobody bought anything, and I was like, this is depressing. But now when I throw sales, I get people who purchase because I have an email list and I have those things. So that's kind of in there. But having a sale is a great way to increase that hurry, and that's why TBT recommends that you keep your sales short. So if they say 4 days, I never go above 2, ever, unless it's like a weird thing. Like I always do a birthday sale, and last year my birthday was on a Saturday, and not a lot of people purchased stuff on Saturday, so I think I did go through Monday or something like that. But typically I usually do 1 or 2 day sales in order to really just get people to be in a rush so that they will purchase, because they're like, oh, I need to do this now because it's on sale. The next reason people don't buy is because they don't have money. I'm putting that in quotes because usually that is just an excuse. Sometimes it's true. Zig Ziglar sold big things. What did he sell? I don't even remember. But was he real estate? I feel like it was real estate. I'm just making things up, don't listen to me. But he sold big things. And so if you're selling something big, like I have courses, and yes, it's totally reasonable if someone's like, I don't have money for this course. Usually, sometimes that's understandable. But a lot of times it's just people saying they don't have money for said thing. For example, I was happy to buy Mickey pumpkin dress, which was more expensive than my makeup remover, and yet I keep thinking, oh, I don't have money for my makeup remover. So that makes zero sense when you think about it, but in your brain, you very much prioritize things, and so you think like, oh, I don't have money for that, even though a lot of times you do. So that is a harder one because you can't like go into someone's bank and be like, yes, you do have money, but you can convince them that the outcome is worth the money. So talking about how good of a value your product is, especially if it's like a bundle, how good of a value is it? How much money is it worth versus how much are you getting? How much time are you getting back? Because if I'm saving you hours of your life, that's definitely worth a couple of bucks. So highlighting those things is really helpful, just to really showcase like, hey, you do have money. Probably, especially for my $3 product, but without being rude about it, just really making sure that you're showcasing and always coming at everything with a positive attitude. You don't want to be like, you do have money, you go buy my product. No, no, no. Just like, hey, this is gonna save you so much time, so you should definitely get it, and that's gonna be worth the money. Okay? Okay. And the last reason that people don't purchase is because they don't trust you. So if someone doesn't trust you, they're not gonna buy your stuff because they don't know if it's gonna be good, and they don't know what it's gonna be like, and they don't know what to expect. They don't, you know, think that you know what you're doing or whatever. This is especially hard on TBT because there's not like regulation. And so there are, frankly, no offense to any of you, hopefully this isn't you, probably not since you're here watching this video, but there are some things on TBT that are not good quality, okay? It just is, because it's not a regulated platform. There are other things that are amazing quality, and I would say, venture to say, most of the stuff on TBT is amazing quality. So having that in mind, people think that when they go to TBT, like, oh, is this total crap? I don't know. And so you want people to trust that your product is gonna be good. How do you do that? Well, there's kind of two main ways. So number one is by really optimizing your product listing and really showcasing your resource. So use pictures, use videos, use your preview to talk about your product and really explain it in depth so that people know what it is, what's included, all of those things. And having the pictures and videos really helps them to see, like, oh, this is what it looks like. I can see that it's good quality. I can imagine it in my classroom. And those kind of things are gonna help them to trust that it's a good idea to purchase your product. If you don't have any of that, people have to put a lot of trust in you in order to purchase something, and they probably don't trust you. And so the more of your listing page you can use, the better your product is going to sell, because people will trust it. The other way you can increase trust, and I was gonna say better, but listing pages are important. The really good way to increase trust is with content. So hopefully by the time you got to the end of this video, you're probably like, huh, Becca might know maybe like this much about TBT, and you hopefully trust me a little bit more. And if you're someone who's been watching my videos for years, then hopefully you trust me a lot, otherwise you're wasting a lot of time. So using content is a really good way to build trust with people. Having a blog, having a podcast, having a YouTube channel, having even just social media where you can show up and people can learn from you, see how you are, and start to trust you, because, you know, the way that works is, like, I put something out on the internet, somebody sees it, they try it in their classroom, and it works, and now they trust me that I at least kind of sort of know something. So the more that happens, the more trust they have in me, the more likely they're gonna purchase from me, because they know that my stuff's not crap. If they've never heard of me before, then they're much less likely to trust me because they just don't know who I am yet. So using your content is gonna be a game changer when it comes to building that trust and building that rapport and selling more products. The last thing I want to say on not trusting is also make sure that your products are good quality. If someone purchases a product and it's not good quality, then they're not going to come back and buy more, because they're going to assume that all your products are like that, including your freebies. If your freebie is not good, they're going to assume that your products are not good. So make sure your products and your freebies are good. I have actually unlisted products because I was like, this is not my best work, and I might come back and edit it later, I might come back and update it later, but right now I don't want people purchasing this and judging my store by them, or downloading this freebie and judging my store by that. So think about that and make sure every product is good, is useful, is standards-based, is helpful, you know, all of those things, so that people trust that other things are going to be good as well. So those are the 5 main reasons that people don't purchase, plus a bonus too from Becca. And I hope that that was helpful. I'll link that book down below. I mean, it doesn't matter to me if you read it or not, other than it's really good and really helpful. It is kind of long, but it's broken up into sections. So I just read like a section, I think each day, like during lunch. And so I would recommend that one. It was a good one. And yeah, that's all I got. So thanks for watching, and see you next time. Bye.